All right, so this tutorial is going to walk you through some different elements of Zoom to help you be successful in your classroom. So once you're on Zoom, kind of your control panel is down here in the bottom. The first one has to do with your audio settings. This is a way to mute or unmute yourself. You probably won't want to mute yourself when you are in a Zoom meeting, but or at least when you're the host of the Zoom meeting, but the option is right down there. There's some different settings right here, some more specific settings, as well as testing your mic and speakers. And you can do that all from that microphone tab. The next tab is very similar, except it's for video. If you want to turn off your video, you just click right there or turn it back on. There's a couple features here, adding a virtual background or adding a filter. I'll do a tutorial about that a little bit later, but those are just some features for your camera. Now, for the purposes of teaching your class, this security button is really important. Right now, we have already set some defaults if you watch my settings tutorial. So we've already enabled the waiting room, we've turned on the chat, and we're allowing students to unmute themselves. But we can toggle those, or we can add a couple other options. The top one is lock meeting. If you don't want any other students to be able to join your meeting, you're at capacity, you could hit that. If you want your students to be able to share their screens, you can click on this. An opportunity might be if they had a presentation to do, you could turn this on, and then students could request access to share their screen. If you want to turn the chat off at any point, it's getting out of hand, you can just unclick that. Right here, this would allow students to rename themselves. Usually you want students using their own real names, but if it's a special activity or something like that, you could turn that on. And then right now, students are able to unmute themselves, which allows them to participate and talk when they want to. If for some reason you just need it to be you and you don't want any other students talking, you can take this feature off, and then students are not able to unmute themselves. For drastic situation that a student just is not complying, if you need to remove them, this is where you do it right here. Do make sure you contact that student and their parent or guardian if you have to do that from a class. But in a drastic measure, that's where it would be. Here's where you see the participants in the meeting. If you click on this pane will pop up here as me as the host, and it looks like somebody is trying to get in the meeting. So I'll admit them right there. Oh, yep, sure enough, there they are. So apparently the llama is joining the meeting, which is fine. Right now, it's in a view where I'm kind of minimized and the llama is big. If you want everybody to be on equal footing, you can hit that gallery view up there, and it will kind of put people in boxes around your screen. That's usually the most popular way that people want to manage their screens. If I want to share a screen, like let's say I want to share one of my other tabs that's open on the computer with everybody else, I could click on that specific tab, and then that would pop up and all my students would see that. The record button is if you want to record the meeting. We're still looking into the legality of recording meetings, so for right now, hold off on that. And then if you followed my tutorial on settings, you'll have this button called Breakout Rooms. If you don't, make sure to go back and watch that tutorial so you figure out how to turn it on. Breakouts are really cool. Right now, the llama is our only participant, but if we had more, we could choose how many rooms we want and automatically assign, click Create Rooms, and it's going to create a couple different small group rooms that students will automatically be put in. If I want to do it manually, I would just drag and drop students into the different rooms. You as the host can come in or out of those different rooms, and when you want them to be done, you can click a button and everybody will come back to this main meeting again. It's a really, really helpful way to be able to break students up into small groups. Also, you have reactions. You can do hand claps, puts it up in your upper left-hand corner, thumbs up, hearts, things like that. If you want to get some participation from students, some people use the hand clap to kind of like raise a hand like you want to talk. Or if you're asking students if they're getting something and you want a thumbs up if they are, that's an easy way for students to communicate with you even when they are on mute. Over here on the right-hand side is the different participants. Also, it is a spot for the chat. If you go down here and hit chat, your chat is going to appear here. Because we have enabled the chat, people can type right here and it's going to show up to anybody, or you're able to choose a specific student that you want to type with. Now, again, if you followed my tutorial for settings, the students will not be able to chat with one another. If you did not change that setting, they are able, so make sure you go back and change that setting. But right now there's that. If you ever need to shut down the chat, you can do that with the security. You can turn off the chat right there. So those are some basics to holding a Zoom meeting. As always, feel free to stop or to watch tutorial again. Feel free to ask me any questions. Or before that first week of school, if you want to pop into one of our Zoom session drop-in meetings, that would be a great time too. So yeah, happy Zoom.